Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar on how to use FSTA on Ovid. Our presenter today is Carol Hollier, Senior Information Literacy and Outreach Manager at IFIS Publishing. Carol joined the IFIS team in September last year and has over 10 years' experience as an instruction librarian at universities in the UK and the US. After Carol's tutorial, we will have a question and answer opportunity, so if you do have any questions for us, please send them in using the chat facility at any time during the webinar, and these will be addressed at the end. We will be recording today's webinar, and we will be sending the recording out to everyone who attended afterwards. If you would like to receive a certificate of attendance for today's session, this can also be provided. My name is Hannah Casbolt, and I will be available on live chat throughout. Now over to you, Carol.
Okay, thank you so much, Hannah. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. As Hannah said, please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have them as we go along. So this is a short webinar, only about half an hour, and I'm going to dive right in. And as you'll know from when you signed up for it, I'm not going to concentrate on all of the Ovid platform for using FSTA in this webinar, but instead I'm going to focus on some particular aspects of it. So using the search fields to search, using multi-field search to search, and then also things that you can do with your results once you've come up with them. So saving them, editing them, exporting them, and also how you can annotate and edit your search as you go along. So don't hesitate to ask questions. And also, if there are other things that you would like to know about using FSTA in future webinars, let us know that as well, please, so that I can hold a webinar on other facets of this platform, which is a very, very rich platform, as you'll know, and lets you come at searching from many different angles. So I'm going to start here with search fields, and I will go to what's usually the default when you go into this view, and you'll see that it is a long list of all the fields that are available for searching within FSTA. And this is really powerful because this allows you to combine fields in any way that you want to for a search. So as you may well be aware, if you are in advanced search, which is a very nice place to search, and you have this box unticked, so you're not mapping to the thesaurus terms or the subject heading, but instead doing a keyword search, and you do a search. I'm going to do my default very basic search, dog, and search there. Then it will do this search mapping to 3 fields: the title, the abstract, and the heading words. And so what search fields allows you to do is actually build whichever fields you think are most useful for a search. So you can get a little bit more broad, but not have to be as broad as using all fields, which has a tendency to introduce false hits. So a simple example of that is if you used all fields, and did a search, say, for Spain, and you were wanting to do something about, poultry production in Spain. But if you did an all field search, then you would include the author's address. So you would get results that were written by people at a university in Spain that might have nothing to do with the production of poultry within Spain. So So this is a way to eliminate some of those problems that do crop up. So when you're looking at this field, at this page, you will see there's a number of different things that are useful to be aware of. If you go and hover over any of the options, then you will have the option to open up the little box here. And this includes useful information because it tells you that that this field is word indexed. And if I go to another field, so if I go to subject headings here and open that one up, then I see that this field, oops, sorry about that. I see that this field is phrase indexed. And that's important to be aware of. Each of them will tell you whether they're phrase indexed or word indexed. So if it's word indexed, then that means that your word will, if you type a word and search against it in this field, that your word will match up with that word anywhere within that field. Whereas
Carol, sorry
yes.
to interrupt.
Yep, of course.
I fear we might not be seeing the correct box as you're discussing it. So I just wanted to make you aware.
Thank you so much. Okay.
I believe that might be due to the sharing option on your screen.
Yes, you know what I'm going to do?
A pop-up.
It is a pop-up. Thank you. I'm going to try sharing from a different view. So do you see the search fields option there?
So we're seeing the all fields at the moment.
Okay, yep. And then now, do you see the pop-up?
We do. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Hannah. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Hannah to the rescue there. So what happened is I have this pop-up box, a very small box that's very basic. And this is where the abstract is telling me that it's word indexed. And if I go down to subject and click on that, then I see that it's phrase indexed. So the importance of the phrase indexed means that I have to capture the whole phrase. So if a subject heading is more than one word, which they sometimes are, if I only have one of those words, it won't match up with the subject heading, so it won't capture that. So that's something that you should bear in mind when you're using this, is look and see if you need to have the whole phrase or if you can just have one word of a phrase. So the other things to be aware of are these little boxes or these little pluses and minuses. And so I'm here on the all fields display, but I can do a custom number of fields, so the ones that I want to use the most, and I can build this by adding. So I could add entry date to my fields. So if it's red and a minus, then it's already been put into my fields. I could then take it out again or not, so that I can work with a smaller selection over here. So in my fields, I also have all fields, but this just means all of these fields. So all the ones that I've selected myself. So I'm actually going to get rid of entry date and have these. And you'll see that the fields that I've selected here are, there is title and abstract and subject heading. So that's the same as the 3 fields we were seeing in advanced search. But then I've also broadened this out a bit. So I've used heading words. So these are words that are within a subject heading. So instead of having to have the whole phrase, I can just have one of the words. I've also got section. So that is the FSTA section. So category in which the records are grouped, and subsection. And then also original title, which means if it's not originally in English, the language it was published in, where it was published. So I want to show you this too. So on every page that you go to within Ovid, there's always this resource selected, and that means FSTA in this case. And this gives us the what they call the field guide. And so this is full of incredibly valuable information. So if I open it up, then I get the fields and I can learn more about each of these fields. So if I want to know about the subsection code, then I can jump to it and get some information. It tells me that this is more specific than the general subject area that's given in the section code. I can also see here within the section code, I can see all of the sections that FSTA has. So these are the broadest sections. And so if I wanted to choose one of them, I could just know that I need all of these words if it's phrase indexed, which it is. So now we know what that means. And so this gives us a lot of background advanced searching information that we will want to draw upon when we're building our searches if we're doing them in these advanced ways. So let me actually go into doing a bit of a search. So I will show you here. I'm going to, instead of using all fields, I'm going to use subject headings. And so in this case, I'm just going to search this one, and I'm going to search honey. And you'll see that we actually get none here. So this is a bit of a warning to you that if you were using the codes here, that you need to make sure that you know the right words. A quick way to figure out what the actual subject heading is for honey would be go into search honey, and search tools, pardon me, and I can go to map term. So this is a Thesaurus searching tool that's built in here, and I see right away that actually honeys is it, so it's plural instead of singular. So I'm going to go backwards though and go back here. So I have, I can either double check what that term is, or I can, if I think I know what it is, I can truncate it. So then I would get honey or honeys. And then you can see I get a result number that's more reasonable for a database that is based on food, because you know that there's going to be subject codes about honey for sure. So I want to go back to the field guide and show you a little bit more about the advanced search as well. So if we scroll down a little bit further, then it gives you information that's very useful about building your searches using the techniques that you need. So and or, and also adjacency and defined adjacency. So one thing that you may or may not know about using the database is that if you type two words together, like aspartame sweetener, then it will read those words as a phrase. So it will assume that they're together. And so if you want to separate them, then you either have to use and, which would mean they could appear anywhere within whichever particular field or fields that you're searching, or you have to use adjacency with a number. So, and you can use like 1 next to each other in any order, or you can say they need to be adjacent 3, so next to each other in any order with up to 2 words in between, or you could go and say 99, so have a huge amount. So if we go back to our searching and do an Offfield search, I'll do it here. So with Manuka honey, So if I just search it like that, then I get 144 results. If I search it in parentheses, I'll get just the same. If you ever do use parentheses, I mean, not parentheses, quotation marks, bear in mind that you need to use the straight ones. So if you have curved ones that might appear in a Word document, so if you copy and pasted from a Word document, the database wouldn't read those at all. So here it's 144 again. If I do Manuka adjacent 3, so there can be 2 words in between, then I get 148, so I get a few more, just 4 more results. And if I type Manuka and honey, then I get 170. So it's getting broader and broader. So it can be quite helpful if you're trying to decide whether you want to use adjacent or just an and, then you can always do a search where you look at what the difference is. So to make it really obvious, I'm going to do what's the difference between using adjacent 3 or just a phrase. So I'll look at search 6, not search 5, which I just type as 6, not 5. So I get my 4 results there, which are down here. And I can open them up and see. So actually, this one has inserted the scientific name in between Manuka and honey. So that might give me another search term to use. This is inserted GMO 220 honey. So different things have been inserted, but there's definitely still about Manuka honey. So those are just some techniques that you can use. So I'm going to go back to searching though, and leave Manuka honey aside and do a little demonstration about using the different fields. So here I have pulled out a variety of terms, fields that are all subject-based at different levels. So some of them are very broadly section subject-based, and some of them are more specific. So I'm going to use this to build a search. So I'm going to build a search about the economics of the fishing industry in Norway. And so what I want to do is start out with doing a really, really broad search, a really broad subject search. So doing all fields, so capturing it anywhere in any of these fields with economic. And I have to spell it. So I can truncate here, and you can use an asterisk, you can use a $sign, and if you were truncating a word that might draw out into many, many different and not necessarily wanted variations, you could say you only wanted to truncate 2 letters beyond what you've typed. Economic, I think it would do economics, or by doing 2, I would get rid of anything like economically. So I'm happy enough to do that. Oops. So I just want to have all fields type selected. And I go down and I can see that these are the fields that it searched for me. And then I might do the next part of my search. So I might just search a section in this case, and I could use the index. So the I will bring me to the index. And you'll remember that the section list is pretty short, so it all shows here, but author indexes are much longer, you can imagine, and subject words are much longer and things like that. So I'm going to just pick fish and marine products and search for that. And so that has appeared down here. And then I'm going to do the last part of my search, and I'm going to do this within subject headings. And I'll use the index again and look for Norway. And so here it is as the first result. So I'm happy with that. But Norway lobsters also has to do with fisheries. So I'm going to include that as well and search these. And then I've got three searches with 3 concepts, which I will then combine with and. So, and that gives me 25 results, each of which I can see down here. So I'm going to show you quickly using multi-field search. So multi-field search is a way for you to build a search if you want to skip some of these building down here, and you don't have a particularly complicated search probably up here. So you can only search, you can either search all fields, or you can search one field at a time. So you can't combine fields the way you just saw me do in that search fields option. So it can be helpful if you're trying to hone in on a particular piece of information. So I could do a search, for instance, for butter, and then I could choose here patent assignees, and I'm going to search for land and truncate that because I'm thinking of a company in the US that's Land O'Lakes, which produces butter. So I'm going to see what patents they have about butter. And that seems like a very unlikely result. So I'm surprised I did this earlier and I did not get that kind of result at all. So I'm going to try, first I'm going to try doing exactly the same thing, see if something happened, like I typed it wrong. No, so in this case, I'll try typing it out more. This is very mysterious. Let's see if this works. If I got the name right. No. So I will have to, this is frustrating. Okay, so it's interestingly, it did not like my asterisk, but it's happy enough with the $sign as a truncation symbol in this case. And so try again with butter in all fields. And this is a number that is much more what I was expecting, where we got 30 results for patents that were assigned to Land O'Lakes Incorporated. So interestingly, it took being a little bit persistent to find this. So I just have a couple minutes left, and I want to show you what you can do with your results. So we've got quite a few results here. I will show you with this latest one some of the options of what you can do. First, I want to show you that you can always do very standard things of printing or emailing or exporting to reference management software, any results. And you can also create an account within a personal account within Ovid to have projects. So if I choose this search, and I can either save it here, or I can go and look at that more here, and I have an option to save it. I could edit it, so I could actually change my search at this point. So you can see all the searches that I've done so far in this session. So I could add in another step here. So I would need to know the code. So I would need to know that I wanted to do subject heading, or I could do MP if I wanted to. But I'd need to know exactly how to type with that code, the field code, to add it in. Or I could annotate any part of this. So I could say must use $. So just to enforce that in my own mind and say, okay, as soon as I annotate it, then you can see that there's a note there. So I can go, if I go back here to my search. So, and if I do say that I want to save it, then if I haven't already set up an account, I'll be prompted to at this point. And then I can choose what kind of search that I want to save. So I can have a permanent search. There's also, for many people, the option to save a temporary search, so which can be for 24 hours or so. You can set up an auto alert here, or you can move it into your projects. Expert searches are something different, which I'm not going to cover in this session. So if I set it up as a permanent search and I call it butter patents and save it, then if I go into my workspace, then I can go and I can see the projects that I have, but here I also have the option to see my searches and alerts. So if I go to that, then I have different types of searches. So that was a permanent search, and I called it butter patents. And you can see that here I can also, this would be to rename it. This is just to see what the search actually is exactly. Oh, so where has it gone? So there it is, very small print. This would be to email it to myself right now, and this would be to edit it. So, and the editing point, I could add an annotation. I managed not to save my annotation before, so I could just say $, oops, sorry, $, or whatever, say okay, and then that'll be saved. And then if I actually do go back to my searches here, then it's still there as well. So that's a really quick going over the things that you can do with your searches. If I created an auto alert, I could have done that. You'll remember I went to save and I had the option to create an auto alert there. I can do it more directly right here. And this is quite standard. You save the name of it again, so I'll call it test, and then you put in the email address. It doesn't have to just be you. You can send it to as many people as you'd like, and you choose the format and the information that you would like to have included with the alert, so that you can have it coming to you at different frequencies. And also our database updates once a week, so you can have it timed so that it will come to you anytime that it's been updated. So once a week you get an alert about it. Besides going to the help that's built in, that's specifically about FSTA in Ovid, which you'll remember if we're in a search frame is always with the resources selected and then show the information. We do at IFAS on our website also have information to help guide you in your searching. So if you go here on our website to FSTA user training, you'll find that if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find this section on Ovid, and there are a growing number of quick guides to various aspects of using FSTA and Ovid. So if you would like to have one of these created, possibly to support users in your library, then do let us know, please, because we'd be more than happy to work with you to make sure that we're getting our help targeted to where it needs to be. So unless there are any other questions, I think that is what I wanted to cover today.
Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you to everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have enjoyed this look into how to use FSTA on Ovid and gained a better understanding of the FSTA search process. We hope that FSTA continues to be a valuable tool in your food science research. Thank you and goodbye.